Episode 5 of Beast Game. Oh my god. Now, this episode was just mainly based on the person who's going to win the island. As anybody knows, Mr. Beast gave people the opportunity. You can either go to a really nice resort on another island and stay there and not compete for the island, or you can stay and you can compete for the island. So 9 people stayed and 51 people left. Let's first start with probably one of the most scariest things ever. The Navy SEALs. Can you imagine being chased by 4 Navy SEAls? Obviously, that was the first time, and the first person that was caught was eliminated. Now, I wasn't really surprised 797 because that was obviously the person that got caught, or as kind of there was another guy, I forget who that was, but I was kind of like, they might get caught as well, but wasn't really surprised 797 got caught, especially when she dropped the camera while one of the seals were around. But yeah, that was funny. That was good. Like I would be breaking myself if I was getting chased by Navy SEALs. But like, look, the first challenge that was it. What do you think? Do you think you could have kind of won that challenge? How do you think you would have handled it? Let me know in the comments. Now, guys, a very interesting thing happened. Obviously, the storyline was kind of mostly based on the island and the line that we're trying to win. But I knew this would come on bite 406 and 527 back in the ass when what they did to that girl. And it's come out now, and people have found out the way they manipulated her. And I knew it from day one that that would come back and bite them in the ass. And I just knew it straight away. People have found out. Now, word of mouth is going to be going through the whole island. Do not trust these guys. And I won't lie to you, probably the next 2 or 3 episodes, I feel they're going to be gone. Because, like, I understand, like I said, 5 million, you're there for yourself. But I think on moral basis, there's a way to do things. And if you're going to be acting immoral and not thinking people are going to hear, see, or find out about it, especially like, I just believe there's a level of morality you have to have in certain aspects, especially when you're in certain places like this. Because at the end of the day, the one thing I said is Beast Games, and people know that you're snaking people, doing these little things, manipulating people, it's going to bite you in the ass. But that's a very interesting story now to see that little alliance now has found out what has happened and what is going to happen. The coconut game, that was brutal. That was brutal. For anybody who hasn't watched it, and for the guys who have watched it, you know what the coconut game was. There's about 20 meters of space, 20 by 10 meters, let's say, and basically you have to throw the coconut to the red line. Now, if you throw over the red line, you're eliminated immediately. The closer you get it, the safer you are, because at the end of the day, it was the two furthest coconuts away from the red line were going to be eliminated. Or if one person threw it out, like what happened in the game, and then the other 8 people, the other 7 people didn't, sorry, the person who was furthest away was going to be the other person. Now, fortunately, what happened is the two biggest threats, sorry, in the whole game got eliminated in that coconut game, which was very interesting to see. But it made things a bit more interesting. And yeah, who do you think is going to win the island, guys? I genuinely still do think 952 is going to win it, but we'll talk about that during the end. I was still very shocked to see 514 go home, because I was even like, if this guy makes it to the next 1 or 2 rounds, he's probably going to win the island or get the furthest with however they decide to give the island to whoever. So obviously, one of the other challenges was an elimination vote. So obviously, the 51 people on the island went on a yacht. They were obviously going around the island. The guys were trying to win, but they only thought they were just going to have fun. They're enjoying they're obviously enjoying while they're out there partying. But obviously, one of the challenges was an elimination. Now, the minute they said elimination, that these guys have to vote, I was like 952 or 895, and when I mean gone, they're gone. And I was very intrigued to see that 952 didn't go home. Obviously, I'm rooting for her, but because I was like the storyline, everything. But at the same time, when I actually watched it more, I wasn't surprised because she was very sociable with everybody else versus like 895 who wasn't very sociable with anybody else. But like eventually we're gonna see, how it goes. Like I wasn't surprised 895 got voted out, to be honest, because I was just kind of like, you just weren't sociable enough, and people were probably like, you're probably a nice guy, but we just didn't talk to you enough to know you. But it is what it is. Like I was expecting him to go. It was either him or 952, to be honest, in my head. What can you do? Now, where it was very interesting was that take a next game. So obviously, for anybody who hasn't watched it, the spoiler alert. Basically, there was a challenge where there was 5 boxes, 4 green ticks, and 1 red X. And basically, the guys had to there's 5 of them, the guys had to nominate a captain. Each one of them, 4 of them went for captaincy, but 1 didn't. So basically, what happened was the one person that didn't go to be a captain had the final vote, and I think that was 441, and he actually picked 442. I think his number is like, oh guys, I forget. But yeah, he picked 442, and 442 was captain. So 442 basically had to randomly put the four green ticks in between one to five, and then he had to put the red X in one another random box. So basically, the four other guys weren't allowed to see what he was doing. Then one by one, they each come back. They try to question him and say like, okay, is it in this box? For some, you say yes, and then for 952, which was very interesting, he says like, sorry. So obviously 952 asking that one question, and it was kind of just a stare down between them. I'm still gonna pick whichever box I want to get at, and God will guide me there. And look, if it is what it is, then it's just not meant to be. And yeah, so that game happened, which was brutal. Oh my God. 952 still stayed in. The other guy, I forget what his number was, went home. Now, guys. See this Mr. Beast guy. He's actually so funny. Well, during this box game, for some reason, when I saw who came, I was like, I saw Little Yachty, and I was like, what's Little Yachty doing here? And I was just kind of like, it was so awkward but funny because it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just such awkward silences, and it was just kind of like, why am I here? And then Mr. Beast was like, Yachty kind of say something. Yachty was like, I don't know why I'm here. But it was so funny. Even when he asked you have any motivating words for me, he was like, huh? Nah. Moving along, it was just very interesting to see like how the story was kind of on 952 in a sense, because obviously, she's already said that she's out for Jeremy, which is going to be an interesting storyline if she does manage to get all the way to the island, win the island, and get through to meet the others. So guys, obviously in the last game, it was basically like a game of chess is basically what I'm gonna call it. So basically, there was three lines of 15 blocks of podiums, and basically they all had to pick random numbers of how many steps they're gonna. So if you picked 5 steps, you gotta take 5 steps. You pick 3 steps, 1 step, and that's actually what happened. So 442 picked 952 picks 3, and 711. But the catch was if two people picked the same number, it cancelled each other out, and then the one person who picked the same number again. Like I said, 442 picked 952 picked 3, and 711 picked 5. So obviously at that point, because because number 442 kind of had power, because he could basically turn around and say, I'm going to pick 5, someone else said they're going to pick 5, and then cancel it out. Somehow, someway, 952 got all the power. So basically, what 711 done and 442 done is they said, do you know what? We're going to let you put it into our hands. We're just going to pick the same numbers each time, cancel each other out. You move forward, and you get basically the immunity, which is golden coconut, and you pick who comes along to the last challenge. Obviously 442 and 711 fought their case out, and I kind of already seen, I was like, 442, you're going home, because when she asked you earlier in the other challenge, was a thing there, and you said, I can actually genuinely not tell you, I was like, if she gets the chance to get back at you, she will. And fortunately for her, she did. So basically they also pleaded their cases. Now she did do something a tiny bit petty, which I was kind of like, there was no, it wasn't necessary, but she kind of moved to where 442 was, and he was kind of celebrating. And then the last section just turned around to 711 and brought him with her to the last challenge. He's kind of like, it was sort of unnecessary, but it's the fun of the games. It makes the storyline, So obviously the last challenge, guys. Oh, the last challenge is brutal. Basically 4 suitcases, 2 have X's, and 2 have the D's to the island. So what Mr. Beast basically done is, gave both of them the deeds. He made them both sign them, and he put them both in the boxes in one of the suitcases. And he said to them, you put it in one of the 2 suitcases, and then you have to basically, plead your case and say, pick this box, this has the deed, or this doesn't have the deed, whatever. But what I like what 952 and 711, they basically said, look, we're not talking back and forth about this. Pick what you feel. It is what it is. If you get the island, so be it. If not, so be it. So obviously, long story short, they put the deed in one random box and the elimination X in another random box. Whoever gets the 2 suitcases with the deed wins and gone. But if each of them don't have the 2 of them, then they just keep. So yeah, that's basically it. The episode wasn't the best, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've enjoyed Beast Games from episode 1 to 4, but this episode 5, I know it was just based on winning the island, but I feel like I just feel like I would love to get a bit more of what's going on the other islands, you know. But at the same time, I do understand as well. The episode was basically based on who's gonna win this island. So like, yeah, there wasn't a lot to go off. It was just more chilling games. But like I said, what's gonna be interesting is obviously we're left on a cliffhanger. We don't know who won the island. If 952 gets back there and sees Jeremy, what's gonna happen to 406 and 527 in the next couple of episodes? And it's just gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the next couple. I feel like this cliffhanger is going to be very, very interesting because I feel like it's gonna build the story for the next 5 episodes and what's. But anyways, guys, who do you think is gonna win the island? What do you think is gonna happen next? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you're enjoying these reviews so far. Guys, look, I appreciate the subscribe button. Press it, like it, and look, if you feel like I can do something more improved or better, let me know in the comments. Take care, guys. God bless and have a wonderful day.